Previously on Wolf Entertainment. I've asked you two to do a review of the Darkstalkers cartoon.
No, you didn't.
Shh. They don't need to know what I've done with their wolf friend. Your mic isn't muted, idiot. Now.
Are you just gonna sit there saying, some more like Tina from Bob's Burgers?
I think it's best we leave him.
Wait, what happened to the ice shield we were stuck in?
It melted.
Great, we're starting to have less continuity now because of this show and its own horrendous continuity. Why don't the two of you start talking about the neutral characters of the show?
Oh yeah, the humans. To be fair, they're hardly used in the series, so it should be fairly short. Other than Harry, we have a powerful human who uses both magic and a giant-ass sword. Meet Donovan Bane. Unlike his actual character, he's a full-blooded human who wants to kill every Darkstalker because they're evil. Man, OVA Donovan would speech this guy to death. He does meet Anita in this, but it's because he used magic on her when Dimitri used her as a human shield, and now he carries her around to help search for Dimitri, putting her in danger every day.
This show can't even get Donovan's backstory right. In the games, he's part vampire, making him a Darkstalker too. In his childhood, something happened to awaken his vampire side and kill everyone in his village, including his mother. He became a Buddhist to help clear his mind and came across Anita, a fellow Darkstalker. You know, like those things in the cartoon that Donovan says are irredeemably evil. Clearly, the Buddhist way of thinking. Anita's emotionless eyes made him feel like she was similar to him, and so he brought her with him in order to save her soul and dedicated his life to kill all Darkstalkers that attack innocent souls.
Surprisingly, the show actually captured Donovan's personality right, or at least closer to correct than any other characters. He is wise, noble, and detests the Darkstalkers that bring harm, and his beads can be used to channel the powers of fire, lightning, and ice. His sword is mainly just a sword in the games, but was granted more power in order to give Anita a reason to be with him for the show. Or I should say, Amanda, because for no reason whatsoever, they changed the little girl's name despite all the other game characters keeping their own names.
He may be the closest, but he still is not fully human, nor does he want to kill every Darkstalker. He also does his best to suppress his vampire side, but here, he comes off as more of a vigilante. It's only when he fights Bishaman that he has some sort of moral conflict with the Darkstalker kind, as Bishaman wasn't totally evil, but he still needed to kill him. He doesn't, though, in the end. He also doesn't kill Felicia, as she was necessary to watch over Amanda. The game version is much more complex, and this show simplified him to a one-note character, as with everyone else. While Donovan is the most tolerable, he's annoying in a different way. Not to mention how he likes to put on lipstick from time to time.
Our other human character is Simcoe. In her backstory, Dimitri was some sort of traitor who did business with her father, Chinese Boomhauer. He killed him off-screen, and then tried to kill her and her sister, but he only got the sister. So, she really only wants to kill Dimitri. To do so, she teams up with Morgan to get Dimitri to come close so she could try to kill him, but she fails of course, and for her punishment, she is written out of the series completely. We see her backstory be animated twice, and even that is inconsistent.
So, how does the show capture her here? This cartoon doesn't make the sister significant at all. In the games, her sister is a ward placed on his Simcoe's hat in order to keep her from falling into her inner darkness, like Donovan. Yeah, the game is just as weird, but played more seriously in comparison to this cartoon. Both she and Donovan are also some sort of vampire and hunt Darkstalkers who harm the innocent. They fought Pyron in order to free their mother's soul, which was lost when she used her life to protect them from some giant creature. They became human and have each other, giving her one of the positive endings. There is no goddess in her that wants to seek justice or anything dumb like that.
Half human, half vampires. That sounds so dumb. Dimitri's the only vampire, and frankly, he sucks.
I heard that, you non-solid devil.
Moving on to the final anti-hero kind of character is the Aztec Robot himself, Huitzel. Oh god, not that guy! He could easily kill me! But it's a big hulking stereotype of a machine. He tried to kill you using a knife and his energy field technique he stole from the androids. He defeated Pyron and wanted to take out his heart to give to the Aztec gods for protection, like the Aztecs of the old. That's really it. But he's scary. His design is dumb. It's not even scary. In fact, I think he was supposed to serve you. Why would one of my own creations plot to kill me?
It's a mystery. Huitzel wasn't just one machine, it was a name given to an army of machines created by Pyron in order to eradicate all life on the planets they landed on. After the Earth unit killed off the dinosaurs, he went into sleep mode until the Aztecs uncovered them and used them for their own purposes. Okay, I call BS on the fact that the Aztecs had these robots and were still conquered by the Spaniards. However, after his second sleep, he malfunctioned and carried out new orders to protect a young boy who fought him, most likely in the present time. Upon defeating Pyron, he reprograms the other Huitzel robots in order to protect the young boy. Huitzel, a machine designed to destroy the Earth, turns against Pyron to protect a human, even if it was a malfunction. He grew out of his old programming. Like Legion from Mass Effect 2, this character got reduced to a literal walking stereotype of some Aztec warrior.
His character was like the stuff he's made of, boring as a sheet of metal. After this random machine comes in for literally one episode, he exits the story just as quickly. Huitzel did nothing interesting and was treated as a one-shot villain with zero depth whatsoever. At least he got the least amount of humiliation on the show. So, now that we're done with our anti-heroes, let's talk about our bad guys, starting off with the most underused one, Bishaman. In the cartoon, he was awoken by Dimitri, and then used by Dimitri to fight off Donovan. However, Donovan doesn't want to fight him, since he isn't truly evil, so he is convinced to turn against Dimitri. Then he gets his soul stolen by Dimitri in the next episode, but of course, Harry saves the day and releases Bishaman's soul where he wandered off in the desert, never to be seen again. So he was good for 2 episodes, and then written out completely.
I'm glad he was written out because the show was unable to ruin him further. From his actual backstory, he was a man who walked into an antique shop and was fascinated by an offset of armor. He then blacked out and soon found out that he had forced the shop owner to give him the armor. Over time, he would sit and just look at the armor until he decided to put it on. This was his downfall, as he soon fell to the power of the armor. Before it could fully take over, he told his wife to run away. In the cartoon, we're led on to believe that his wife is dead when she's actually alive. Bishaman was controlled by his armor and sword to fight and kill. After defeating Pyron, he was separated from the armor and became a monk with his wife. While being a monk, he found a temple with ancient texts describing a realm called Makai. With this knowledge, he wanted to open the realm up and seal away the armor and sword. However, his equipment wanted to kill again, but he was able to seal it away before it could possess someone else just in time. Yet again, another troubled character, being able to surpass his inner darkness, reduced to a flat character on the cartoon. Thankfully, the show didn't use him that much, so he couldn't be ruined. Of what little we did get of him, it was still a bit inconsistent. The show makes it seem like his wife is dead and a part of the armor, when the sword and armor are creations of Jeddah Doma, the villain of the final Darkstalkers game. But hey, why bother linking this to actual source material now?
But the sword was still evil. Humans feared that it would take the souls of humans if used against them. If the user didn't kill, it would take the soul of the user. The armor would give the user supernatural abilities, but make them a monster as well, and drain their soul over time. The show only got that the sword was the source of evil, but it wasn't the reason Bishaman was truly evil. If the show tried to explain it, it probably would have failed even harder. Since we're on the topic of tanks, let's look at our other tank, Anacharis.
But we already talked about him. He's an annoying idiot and a joke villain. His only memorable moment is that he took advantage of Felicia sexually. Really captured this complex character well, writers, so why not skip him?
Alright, I'll skip Anacharis. If you didn't watch the first part, go watch it now. The only other tank-like character is Pyron, but I want to save him for last.
Then let's talk about the other comic relief character, Lord Raptor. Oi, is it my cue now?
Q? No, this isn't some show for you.
But everyone knows me. There ain't been no blokes like me in the world. I'm a star.
Only in the land down under. You're just some comic relief character who just wants to be an actor, and you have a guitar that uses a weapon and instrument, and it makes raptor noises for some stupid reason. I'm not sure how you got them, but you also have a biplane and a car that can both fly. How can that even fly?
By using the Z gear, of course.
Right. Anyways, what's so special about you? Your agent even hinted at other zombie musicians better than you. A bar you played at switched over to country music just so you couldn't play there anymore. You're a joke. How could you be complex?
I may be a comic relief, but I was famous. Emperor Awesome wanted me to play for his birthday, in fact. So, for destroying my fans, I tried to kill him. I joke around to throw my opponent off. I even rape him as one of me attacks. Plus, I get real mad, and I go red and gain enhanced abilities to kill him faster. Don't piss me off, you wanker! Too bad his ego is one of his weaknesses, just like his Simcoe's hotness and Lamalta his guitar. Plus, Lord Raptor is also a shipper in his spare time, pushing Lilith closer to John. Like Felicia, he can also change his form to walk about the human world, except his form is his old human form. He also has a healing factor that allows him to take a lot of hits and walk them off, even if it leaves him with less power than before. Lord Raptor is still a joke character, but he is much smarter in the games than in the show. The villains don't even like Lord Raptor so much that they tear his body apart twice in the series. This version of Lord Raptor is another whiny idiot who causes more damage for his own forces than against his enemies. Even Harry outsmarted this guy. I honestly can't blame his evil teammate for breaking this guy apart after screwing something up every episode. Too bad he's like Kenny, since it never kills him. When you get your body torn apart, give me a call. Raptor out.
What a strange zombie. Well, I already forgot him. So let's talk about the sexual succubus who turns on most men and some women, Morgan Ainsland. She was sealed by a group of white nuns in Iraq until Pylon awoke her. She never gets along with Dimitri and tricks Simcoe into letting her live by selling out Dimitri. Her design is to make sure to stay away from her instead of tackle her down into a bed to rub.
Anyways, she's very different from the game version. Thankfully, this game came before the addition of Lilith, otherwise, those two would both be ruined even more.
Yeah, one ugly succubus is enough. Also, for some reason, she wanted to train Harry in wizardry just so she could steal his powers, which she doesn't really need since she's already powerful without wizard skills. She's also related to the powerful mage Morgan Le Fay because their names are similar, ha ha ha. Yes, the show is that stupid. So, she tries to murder Felicia because a magic ring she stole from a museum needs Darkstalker blood, but then she gets cut and realizes, maybe my own blood will work too. And it does! But Harry defeats her still. Meaning that there was no point to this plan at all, other than that Morgan is boring and ugly.
In 1678, Morgan was born to the Ainsland family as an S-class noble and had power beyond imagination, so her father split her power into 3 energy forms in order to prevent her power from destroying her. She was a Disney princess for a while until she sensed Pyron and decided to leave to fight him for fun. She is a seeker of excitement and normally doesn't complete her responsibilities. Because she visited the human world many times, she is friendly to humans and approachable, though I think her assets help with that. In fact, she isn't all that evil, she just wants to have fun in life. She may have some hedonistic traits, but Morgan is not a monster.
In the cartoon, she is just fully evil. She has never visited the human world, or to our knowledge. There is essentially nothing redeemable about her character at all. She's just a villain. Way to make a trademark Capcom character into a one-dimensional cartoon villain. But the show kept the rivalry between Morgan and Dimitri, even if they do act like children. Speaking of Dimitri, let's move on to one of the more villainous characters. Dimitri is the Lord of Vampires and completely evil. He takes orders from nobody unless they beat him in combat, apparently. But the battle between Pyron and Dimitri was so weak that Dimitri comes off as kind of a coward. As he is a vampire, he has the weakness of the sun, only when the plot demands it. They bring it up twice in the entire series, in the pilot when Pyron summons him in daylight, and when he fights Simcoe. He went through a desert to find Lord Raptor, and the sun never bothered him. The show was inconsistent with vampires. That is just bad. There is no excuse for something like that.
You see, I used sunscreen that time in Egypt, so because of that, I went unharmed. But sunscreen doesn't work like that at all! Quiet, or I'll reduce you to a pile of bones. You do that every lunch break, you twit! His game counterpart would never accept this version. The Dimitri here is a total cartoony moron. He acted goofy, he looked goofy, he had goofy defeats, and he even battled goofy. This one is a complete weakling from the start, while the real Dimitri would never accept being called weak or being defeated. He made a magical barrier around his castle in order to remain protected. He slowly grew back his powers and was able to create an aura in order to withstand the sun's rays. They never explain that in the show, so his ability is just inconsistent and head-scratching. Plus, he fought Pyron because he was confident in his ability to defeat both him and Belial Einsland, Morgan's father. He then challenged Morgan after learning of her ascension to power, but Jeddah interfered with their fight, so Dimitri thought he could make a deal with Jeddah. One of the weaknesses Dimitri also has is that he needs blood to increase his strength.
So that's why Pyron beat him so easily. He was just awoken during the day and had no supply of blood. But he also never feeds on blood until his Amanda murder spree, but fails to kill her still. Now that you've gotten through all the other fools...
Actually, sir, they have yet to talk about me.
Those reviewers always liked you better.
That robot assistant was easily the best character ever. He was so sarcastic towards Pyron and the others, and knew that the villains were total fools. However, his life was connected to Pyron's, so if Pyron died, he would blow himself up and the ship as well as the entire cluster of planets the Earth is a part of. Too bad his voice was changed in the ending in one episode to a seductive female voice. They ruined him in that exact moment, but he is still the greatest character. In fact, I was hoping that the AI robot would turn out to be Huitzel, but sadly, I had expectations for this show being good, so I was quickly proven wrong when Stereotype Huitzel showed up.
Now that you've done everyone else, lastly is me, the great Lord Pyron. I am a collector of planets. You also didn't get held enough as a child and evolve into bickering with your brother when he tries to take over. But he always picks on me. It's unfair. Collecting planets is the only thing that keeps me sane. Besides, the game version still collected planets.
And engulfed them in flames.
But that would ruin the planet.
You, or at least your game counterpart, the real Pyron, wanted to murder everything and only let Earth live so that evolution could occur and you could fight stronger opponents in the future, most likely. Real Pyron called himself the Lord of the Living Flames, could travel through space faster than light without a ship, can heat up his attacks to the temperature of supernovas, and control gravity. He's essentially the space devil.
But where's Terramon? Based off of that description, he probably burned him alive and added him to a stellar mass. But now that we've tackled every freaking character in this cartoon, we have to cover the final episode. And no other ones.
Let's hope.
It opens up with Pyron looking at Anakaris leading his March of the Penguins while Morgan and Dimitri are fighting each other on Oprah. Yeah, the Darkstalkers, the hidden warriors of the night, are now totally okay with exposing themselves to the public and talk about how they live among humans. At the tip of this small iceberg is that Terramon, Pyron's brother, is coming to visit to see what Pyron has accomplished with his life. Which is nothing. So Morgan comes up with a plan to invite the good Darkstalkers to dinner to show that Pyron isn't a huge loser. Of course, she acts like a condescending mother in this whole story while comforting our main villain, but it's going to be a let's feel sorry for the devil kind of tale.
So of course, Pyron's enemies, the heroic Darkstalkers, completely agree to help make Pyron look good in front of his successful evil brother by pretending to be his friends and throwing a dinner party to praise Pyron's success as a villain. All the iconic characters of the game in one place, and it's the stupidest thing we'll ever see. Yes, the dinner scene is the dumbest moment on television in all brutal honesty. All of the Darkstalkers don't get along with one another, and their banter isn't that funny either. Terramon then tries to eat Harry, but Pyron won't allow that, so a food fight ensues. Then Pyron sends his brother back to the ship with his teleporter, finally standing up to him for once in his pathetic life. So the Darkstalkers clapped for him in delight. Okay, he didn't defeat Terramon in battle, he just sent him off his ship. He doesn't deserve applause.
Aw, but he finally stood up to his jerk of an older brother. Besides, it only goes downhill from there. Terramon now decides to pretty much declare war on Pyron, so Pyron and the Darkstalkers team up in order to board his ship and take him down. Lord Raptor decided to go it alone and find the radio station to blast his music all over the ship. Guess how well that worked out for him. The other Darkstalkers fight off Terramon's orc robots, but also get captured because naturally, these epic fighting game characters suck at fighting.
Let me go first. All clear.
Apparently, Tailbane also became blind and couldn't see his opponent in an open area right in front of his sight. Victor is taken out because electricity is his weakness despite it being his primary source of attacks. It doesn't take too long for Terramon to capture the other Darkstalkers, and by capture I mean have two guards watch over them, and as they are standing around, Harry somehow got away and puts Felicia down so she can heal while he enters HAL 9000 and does stuff to throw off Terramon's ship.
Once again, Harry returns. The Darkstalkers take down Terramon's goons because they were too dumb to actually tie them up or put them in prison cells, and then Pyron finally confronts his brother by getting into a stupid sibling argument over who was loved more by their mother. To see Pyron devolve into a whiny baby is just sad to watch. Then, whatever Harry did kicks in, and it teleports all the important Darkstalkers back to Pyron's ship, and Anakaris into Terramon's ship, which travels back to the time of the dinosaurs. I really wish I was making this up. And because Terramon is weak, the derp dinosaur kills him. Nothing but family-friendly death for the kids, right? So Pyron thanks Harry and calls him a worthy adversary, which is an insult to every other Darkstalker in the game, since Harry is getting praised over the other characters fans actually love. And then Pyron acts like Santa Claus when he tells him that he can sleep well tonight because Harry has saved the world. After Harry goes home peacefully to wait for Santa Pyron's Christmas present, Anakaris falls out of the sky, crushing the devil to death. End of series. What a terrible ending to a terrible cartoon based off an awesome fighting game.
Yeah, as a standalone cartoon, it fails. The animation is bad on a very laughable level, the story is all over the place and full of inconsistencies, the characters are uninteresting and ugly at times, the voices could use quite a bit more work, and I'm surprised some actually got more work with better roles after this. However, I was laughing my ass off when watching it because I was making fun of its poor quality. I understand why it could be considered a so bad it's good production. It's still pretty bad though.
For the fans of Darkstalkers, this is something you'd want to avoid. The characters are nothing like the source material except by name and look. Well, some of the physical characteristics at least. Any character you liked from the Darkstalkers was ruined in this, except for Jeddah, Lilith, QB, and BB Hood, but they didn't exist yet before this show was made. Lucky for them. They even added 4 original characters for this cartoon, and only one of them made it slightly better. Harry is a terrible character that should never have been added, Klaus stole focus from a real character he served for, and Hairball takes the screen time away from Sasquatch and is a high-pitched white furball of annoyance. There is nothing redeemable in this cartoon.
Making fun of this show was the only good thing, and for that, we're rating it a 1 out of 10. Making fun of it and the robot assistant are the only good things the cartoon has to offer. If you enjoy laughing at failed ideas like this, then you might like it. Otherwise, it's nothing like the game it was supposed to represent and should be avoided by hardcore fans or people who seek good cartoons.
This is why the franchise and video game cartoons in general no longer gain positive attention from newcomers.
I refuse to take this. I will kill you for such an insult to my series. I don't think so. What was that? A button to blow up your ship. Well, shit.
You had something to destroy Pyron's ship this whole time?
Yep. So now that this crappy cartoon is over, there's only one more Darkstalkers thing to review.
Wait, you don't mean...
The OVA.
No!